It's taken me so many takes to record this message. It has taken me multiple redos over and over again. I wish you guys could see the actual camera roll of just how many times I've had to start and restart because it's uncomfortable for me to share what I want to share with you today. But there comes these moments in your life, and probably one of the most critical moments in your life is when you finally make the decision to do what you're supposed to do and to stand and rest in that position, regardless of what happens around you, regardless of who's frustrated, regardless of who's aggravated, regardless of all of the reactions that the world is trying to pull from you, just to be able to rest in what this moment is calling for from you. That's probably one of the most challenging things to ever do, because there's this inner desire to always want to grind. There's this inner desire to always want to fit in. There's this inner desire to want to please those that are around you. But you cannot please everyone that's around you for sake of forsaking yourself. I think that there are so many times in my life that I've forsaken myself. I have forsaken myself to please those that were around me, what they felt they needed, what they felt they wanted from me. And like a contortionist, there were many years that I found myself moving, trying to satisfy all of the demands from everyone that was around. And in that, I lost myself. In that, I lost the ability to be able to connect with that inner voice. And it wasn't until I was able to stand in the silence of being uncomfortable, of choosing what I knew was best, that I find my voice and myself, and I stop betraying what the moments were calling for from me. It wasn't until I became comfortable with being uncomfortable, comfortable with being unliked, comfortable with not satisfying the demands from everyone, but making sure that I was not betraying myself. Standing in the truth of what you know is right, standing in the truth of what you know God is calling you towards, not being shaken and not being moved. I use allegories oftentimes to convey a message, and there is one allegory in the Bible that I want to talk about this morning for just a few moments. Luke chapter 10, verse number 40. But Martha was distracted by all of the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and she asked, Lord, don't you care that my sister, Mary, had left me to do the work all by myself? Tell her to help me. Martha, Martha, Jesus answered, you're worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one thing. And Mary has chosen what is better, and it will not be taken from her. In this story, there were so many demands of things that needed to get done. There were so many things and people that needed things to be satisfied around them. That's the space that I operated from in my life, of wanting to make sure I was meeting everybody else's need that was all around me. But then there comes this moment where we've got to meet our own need and fill our own cup. There's so many times that I betrayed myself of not filling my cup because there was a demand from someone else or something else that was around me, that I was willingly trying to give what I had left into everything and everybody else. And I would walk away empty and operate from this empty space. And it wasn't until I began to hear God reveal to me that my space was to fill my cup first and to let it overflow. And from the overflow, those that were around me would be blessed. When I look at this story, Martha was frustrated, angry that Mary was filling her own cup. She said, indeed, why don't you make her get up and start serving us, serving people around her? Why is she just resting? And Jesus said this was the thing that I'm calling her to do: rest and receive. That this moment and this season in her life, what I'm calling for is not for her to please the masses, not for her to run around and take care of everything and everybody else, but indeed for her to rest and fill her own cup. You know, I believe that you can help people much better once your cup is filled. You're operating from a full space rather than operating off of a deficit. How many times have you helped someone and you've helped them from a deficit? You've helped them from your own broken place rather than helping them from a full place of being able to give and not feel drained. I can't think of how many times I've had $5 and somebody else needed it and I've given them a few dollars and I wasn't able to meet my own need. That's a physical example of ways that we lend and give and show up for everybody else, but then we forget to show up for ourselves. We are so inclined to want to be a voice for our friends, wanting to be a sounding post, wanting to be emotional support for everybody around us because we sense the need. But then we're not the same thing to everyone else that we need to be, or we're not the same things to ourselves that we have been to everyone else. You know, I was having this moment the other day where I was thinking about how many times I have talked kindly to people that were around me. And then I walked away from those people and I beat myself up. How many times have you done that in life? Have you given everyone else words of reassurance, given everyone else words to edify them, to build them, given them the listening ear, and you've tried to gently and softly minister to the place of their pain? But then in your own moment, you beat yourself up because you were empty. You were empty, so you beat yourself up and talked harshly to yourself. My challenge to you is to take the time to silence the noise, talk to yourself differently, pour into your own cup, and allow the others around you to receive from the overflow. You know, some people will simply be blessed because they see you living the life that you were meant to live, with joy, with grace, with integrity. Being able to talk kindly to yourself, being able to reassure yourself, build yourself back up. Friends, in this season, I think that this moment in your life and in my life, I know we're being called to fill our own cups first. We've all heard the analogy of when you're on the plane, the instructors tell you, take care of yourself first, because how can you take care of others when you have no oxygen left? And I think that so many of us have operated from this space of knowing that we were placed on this earth to serve, that we are so willingly giving up our peace, our joy, to provide it to everyone else that is around us. And we're not being good stewards over the gifts, the tools, and the talents that God has given us. Sometimes being a good steward over what God has given you is filling yourself up first, so that from the overflow of all that you have within, others are blessed by watching your life, by seeing you operate from the space of wholeness, as opposed to being half of the person that you should be. I think that this season in life is calling for you to fill your cup first. Take the time to build yourself, rebuild yourself, and let some of the things around you, let them fall, because maybe the only reason why they're still struggling is because you keep saving them. Maybe the only reason why they keep going through the cycle is because they know that they've got someone that's going to build them back up. And maybe they need to fall in order to see that they can stand on their own. Maybe you've enabled the cycle of constantly pouring into everyone else. And maybe you've enabled the cycle of them constantly needing to come to you. Maybe you just need to let it fall so that God can build it back up and you focus on building you, restoring you. Focus on the future that God has for you, the things that He has for you to do, because there are going to be many distractions. And as long as the devil, the enemy, knows that he can use people around you to distract you from the purpose that God has given you, it will keep happening over and over again. I think that this season of life is called refilling yourself, filling your cup first, and let the chips fall where they may. I think that's what this season is calling for. So I want you to take some time over the next couple of months and fill yourself. Find out, do you even know what you like anymore? Do you even know what a successful life looks like for you anymore? Do you even know what peace looks like for you anymore? What things do you like? Do you even know what you like to do? Or have you been so fixated on everyone else that you've forsaken yourself? Don't forsake yourself anymore. This is a season for you to fill your cup. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm hoping that this message has reassured something inside of you, maybe spoken to something inside of you, and that you feel encouraged to refill your cup. Be refilled. See what you can do when you're full. God bless you. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Let's have an amazing week.